For days on end, Jetta and Maurits are busy, feverishly copying the geometric motifs of the Arabs in the Alhambra. The great intricacy and geometric artistry of the patterns had already been noted by Escher in a visit long before, but now he obviously sees more in them. The patterns make an impression on him of something ancient and eternal. Each pattern repeats itself endlessly in a kind of two-dimensional universe. But if such a pattern is a universe, Escher wants to populate it with figures drawn from reality. All that's wonderful, incomprehensible, splendid, enchanting surrounding us in the world depends on repetition and multiplication, he writes later in a booklet about his theory of regular plane division. We're not deaf, blind or dumb. We're conscious of the shapes that surround us, and they only have meaning if we recognize them as clear symbols of people, animals, things we see around us. Capricious patches of abstract geometric figures hold little meaning for us. Coming home, he tries to transform the Arab geometric figures into people, seahorses, birds. He shows his attempts to his brother, a geology professor, who advises him to read some articles by crystallographers. They're involved in the same things as you are. It's a revelation. These are people who systematically study the kinds of patterns that intrigue Escher so much. From that moment on, he spends year after year filling in one school exercise book after another, designing his own theory of regular plane division. Up until his death, he uses his system to arrange an amazing quantity of fish, frogs, birds and lizards in mosaics. It shows how fascinated he was by this game with different figures that you can never actually see at the same time, because one is the background for the other. His studies in plane division are not meant for the general public. They only occasionally surface in his official prints. The first one is development, quickly followed by day and night. Later, it becomes one of his best-selling prints. In 1938, this couldn't have been predicted. Friends and acquaintances to whom he shows his new work find it peculiar and don't really know what to make of it. Disappointing, especially since he's spent a whole year experimenting and exploring this new direction in his work. Fortunately, his old teacher, de Mesquita, is enthusiastic. Escher, who has moved from Switzerland to Brussels, regularly visits him. But he doesn't really need any encouragement. Once, his ideal was to master his trade completely. He sometimes chose subjects because they lent themselves particularly to a certain technique he wanted to try out. Now his ideas excite him so much that he wants to explain them to others at all costs, ideas that can only be expressed in images rather than in words, such as the play of figures that are each other's background. The optimist and the pessimist can never be seen at the same time, as long as they are figures in a regularly divided plane. You can see either one or the other. But when they emerge from the flat surface, we see a black man and a white man shaking each other's hand. Escher throws himself into his work more passionately than ever. I cannot imagine what my life would have been like if I'd not been confronted with the question of plane division, he later writes to an admirer. I am, so to speak, head over heels in love, and I still don't know why.